Hello, welcome to your Balls podcast with myself, Andy Thompson. Alongside me, I've got BBC Cumbria's dynamic trio, Dan Payne, Becca Thompson, and our favourite jam eater, Jordan Weir. How are we doing?
How was that happening in the opening 20 seconds? What's going on? How have I been called a jam eater already? What's going on here?
I've been keeping it on my sleeve.
Oh, honestly.
Mate, if you think that was bad, just wait for the next hour.
I'm
I've seen Andy's notes.
My notebook is just full of insults for you, my mate. I've just been sort of dipping my toe in the water throughout the WhatsApp and Facebook, sort of back and forths and that. But yeah. Anyway, before we get going, just like to thank our sponsor, Santa Marina, Italian takeaway, and deli.
And deli.
Yeah. Go and say something nice about them, Penny.
Get yourself down here in the afternoons for the deli side of the Santa Marina, the best sandwiches in Cumbria.
Have you gone for the Tomo special yet?
Not yet, no. Buy one, get one free with every single try that Tomo scores.
That's it, yeah. Not there for any of us, is it?
No one's getting a free one.
Never.
Right, we'll start off with Barrow Ladies then. So we've had Vanessa Temple, who's been put in the team in a month for the Women's Super League, hasn't she? It's great for the club. Amanda Wilkinson has also been put in as the Coach of the Year nomination as well. And unfortunately, we're seeing the end of the careers of Jodie, Litherland and Michelle Larkin as well. Two bigger players and someone you know very well.
Yeah, well, I was actually speaking to some St. Helens fans the other day about Amanda's nomination, and they all think that Wigan's coach should get it, Dennis Betts. Is it Dennis Betts still? Yeah, sorry, I don't want to say something wrong there. Yeah, they all think he should get it because they've turned the season around, but I mean, they got beat yesterday, so it doesn't really count. But yeah, I think Amanda should for sure get it. When I saw the nomination, I thought Amanda's she's done taking them up, that top of that bottom four in her first season in Super League with pretty much non-changed team from the last season, a couple of changes, but nothing drastic. So, she hasn't got any Australian or Canadian players coming over in her team. So, yeah, I think, and speaking on Vanessa, we were speaking about her earlier, but, she's such a good player. I think she's actually been nominated for the Dream Team of the Month. I think she's been nominated for that she's got it 3 different times in 3 different positions. So I think that pretty much sums up Vanessa, really. She's just pretty much bang on. But yeah, and like you say, Jodie and Michelle leaving, it's quite emotional. I obviously did an interview with them both, and that was I think I was crying. I think Paul Wellings was crying in the background because he was actually sat on the other side of the door. But it was just so emotional. It was touching. But yeah, me and Michelle were involved in the starting team in 2016. Jodie came a couple of months later, and it's kind of been it's like the family's splitting apart. But let's not cry on a podcast.
I think in Amanda's defence as well, right? We talk about the best of the rest. Her pool of players that she had to select from, she's brought in Cumbrians. I think that for the most part, Becca, that team must be all from this area. She's had to bring in girls from Rugby Union and adapt them into the league game whilst doing this, playing against top opposition. Remember at the start of the season, you told me about Huddersfield and they've been taken over or something. Is that right? And the big things were happening for them. Maybe it hasn't worked out this year. Well, that was always going to be a bit of competition for them in the best of the rest. Absolutely blown them out of the water.
Yeah, they had NRL sponsors or something, like NRL taking over them. So but they don't even play at the stadium. That's such a negative thing in my eyes. I understand it costs but they probably get more fans than the men's game at Huddersfield. So it's no offence, but I've been there and they don't get a lot. So, the women's game can't.
That's throwing shit out early doors, isn't it, Becca?
We need to get some sort of row clip going on.
3 minutes in episode 2 and she's throwing shit at Super League already. Christ.
You know what? They said it was a snooze fest, Jordan, so I've come to shake it all up for you.
Well, yeah, mentioning that. What? Our mate Ellis went for you, didn't he? And us on the podcast.
I thought he was my mate.
He actually went for Jordan, but I didn't get it on record and Jordan didn't hear it because I recorded the Widnes game instead of my own game. So that was really fun. But I actually asked him about what Jordan said because I was quite intrigued about the Cumbrian, West Cumbrian Academy. And Ellis said Furnace Raiders works, so don't change it. But if West Cumbria want to do their thing, then they do that thing. But yeah, to be honest, I think, it is right. But Yeah, Ellis was. He knows I'm not shading him because he knows he said it live on air, and I said to him, "Well, that's Ellis Gillum's opinion live on air," so he knows he said it, and he told me he doesn't listen anyway, so he won't even hear it.
Oh, well, how dare he then?
So, early shithouse nomination there
I was
for
going to say, right in the shithouse, but there, isn't he?
3 strikes, that, innit? Not listening, saying it's a snooze fest, and out and you as a part-timer. Fairly accurate, to be honest.
Hey, he even rejected my UW approach. I was trying to put some extra money in his bank.
At least he's got some sense there. Right, before we go away from the Barrow Ladies side of it, we'll just, obviously you tied in with the 2 losses at the end of the St Helens game and going over there with potential retirement at the time.
So I'm just here with Barrow Raiders veterans and with Michelle Larkin and Jodie Litherland, guys that have been here from the beginning of Barrow Raiders ladies, got the team into Super League and then played their last game for the ladies today here at St Helens. Just coming to you first, Michelle, what was it like playing that last game today?
Yeah, emotional but amazing experience. Obviously coming 5th in the league and playing Saints of Champions was a big honour. Yeah, just really good experience and just glad to end the season.
And Jodie as well, for you, it's been a massive season getting into that 5th as well. You guys have done a lot as well for the team. How does it feel to you playing your last game today?
Yeah, same as Lark's, really emotional. I think that what a journey we've been on as a squad. And then to finish here against them, absolute class act. Nothing but credit goes to them. I think that we wanted to get on the scoreboard there at the end, but instead of getting on the scoreboard, I'll take an absolute whack from Vicky Whitfield to finish my career. So, you know, you're in a game when you turn around, you take I think it was a 1-on-1 steal or an intercept, and then you turn around and she absolutely puts you on your ass. So, yeah, I'll remember that one. Would like to get on the scoreboard, like I said, right when we had that bit of possession at the end. But yeah, incredible journey, incredible club, absolutely like honour to captain the team. Yes.
Just while Jodie's getting a bit emotional, we'll leave her for a minute. Just back to you guys. I know, like we were just saying, obviously this is your end of your playing career at the moment. If any of yous return, I was saying yous might return out of spite, just to spite me saying on the radio it was your last game. But obviously for you, Larks, what's next? Are you going to stay in the club or take some break out? Obviously got a young family as well.
Yeah, for me, I just need a break now, a bit of rehab, recovery. My body's a bit battered, so I just want to get in a good place physically. Ending now was the right time for me to get my body before it like totally breaks down. And I'm just gonna, new ventures, start something new, just fit gym, hopefully with Jodie, and watch the girls, support them, and just see next season absolutely ramp it up to just amazing team, and they've got such a good future ahead of them. Yeah, the best team ever. Love them.
And Jodie, back to you now. So we were speaking earlier, but there is some news on the horizon as well for you. So can you tell us what you'll be doing next season?
Yeah, I think again, same as Lark's, first and foremost, get the body fixed up, get back in the gym and just kind of fix what's kind of not been great for me for the probably past 18 months now. And yeah, me and Larks will make great training partners. I'm sure we'll keep pushing each other and telling each other off in the gym when we're not working hard enough. So that's to look forward to. But yeah, this week I've thought long and hard about it, and I can't be involved with the Super League side because it'll just be too raw and too emotional, I think. But yeah, I've agreed to go on board with Amanda and support her in the 15s and 16 pathway to performance. So I think, like, after thinking about it, like I said, like really long and hard, and honestly, I've stewed over it for a long time because I wasn't sure if I just needed a full break from it. But yeah, I think that it's just that opportunity now to give something back to the club. It's given me so much over the years, and I think if I can go down there and be that kind of player for them to look up to, that they've got an opportunity now right on the table for them to kick on, improve, develop. And then, like I said, one day they'll be the lasties that are coming along and taking our shirts. And I can't wait now to be kind of a bit of a part of that and watch definitely a couple of them, because some of them were absolutely running rings around us at training on Tuesday night. And there is some real talent in Barrow. And the most important thing for me is now we've left that legacy for kids and young girls to have the ambition to want to play in Super League, want to play against teams like St Helens, and want to come here on a Friday night and play at the Totally Wicked Stadium in an environment like this. And I think 3 years ago, we couldn't have even dreamt of this.
Yeah, I just got to say as well, you know, from you guys, you have led the way for this team. You've done so much. And one last question, because I'm going to get emotional now, but In 2016, Michelle, me, you, Emily Sturzaker, we were there at the beginning for it all. We'd been dragged in by referee society, and we started up this club. We were getting beat 90-0 by Wakefield and stuff. It was hard times. Did you ever see you playing at the Totally Wicked as your last game, 5th in the table as a Women's Super League team?
To be honest, yes, because I think at the beginning, playing those hard games with 9 players, 10 players, still turning up, still playing, getting a score each week and not giving up, I could see like the determination and the spirit in the girls and knew that we'd go far. We stick together, we got through it, and we've just worked hard constantly, and that's credit to ourselves, and yeah, all of them deserve it.
Well, guys, time to retire them shirts, Jodie Litherland. Just with a finishing remark here.
Yeah, I think it's funny you mentioned 2016, so it's been a bit of a full circle. I moved back to Barrow in 2016 and wondered what I was going to do next in my life, and then came from back surgery in 2016, and then a women's rugby side was being set up in Barrow, so went along a little bit late to the party than you guys, but yeah, now it's kind of my back that's making me stop. Maybe my hip as well, but I think, yeah, it's quite a nice like full circle and full journey that we've been on. So credit to everyone who's involved from 2016 and kind of 8 years down the line. Here we are in Super League and here to stay. So yeah, I think that's where we want to be, and that's where the club deserve to be, because it's been absolutely incredible.
Well, you might have been a couple of months late to the party, Jodie, but you finished the party off well. So go retire them shirts, both of you.
Bit emotional, that one for you, Becca.
I'm not crying, you are.
Obviously, that's 2 key positions there as well. You know, you're losing your scrum half, and you sort of someone will keep a key player along your back line as well in the wing or full back. So, do you reckon they've got anyone lined up? Have you got anyone in the club who are going to slot in them positions?
Yeah, I think they're fine. I think they're sorted. I think it's 2 big positions to lose for sure, but I think what they've done this year is they knew that would come in, so they've covered it well, brought Nicole Stewart in. I'm sure she'll slot into that sort of position. I think working on, and I don't want to sound like I'm commenting on anything here, but more working on like fitness for her, purely because she's come from a League 2 team to Super League. It's completely different. So yeah, I think she'll slot in really well. And then Michelle was obviously on the wing, but got some wingers coming into it that, a couple have been off at uni, a couple are coming through this new talent pathway that's coming through. So, I mean, like I say, nothing to take away from them, 2 absolute huge losses to the team, but I don't think that'll be one of those St Helens losing James Roby moments where they go down the pan for 2-3 years. I think it'll be it's not a great situation, but we've planned for it and we know it's happening, so let's just crack on.
Oh, good stuff. Well,
nice to see that the ladies have got more planning in place than certain clubs. Evening, Jordan.
I'm not here. Just pretend I'm not here. Just have your Raiders loving, do what you want. And how you can comment on Raiders this week about anything with your bloody people.
We can't because I don't want to sort of name names or anything like that, but someone went on strike halfway through and decided to just suck it off.
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Someone else, yeah. Becca just decided, she wasn't bothered about that. And even on the first half, we don't even know if she did it because she was too busy recording bloody Radio Merseyside.
Well, I had comments that I was good in the first half, and then everyone heard about John O's injury, and then it all went, there's a little broadcast, and it sounds like, The Purge, when they play that message, it sounds like that going, this is cut off. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. If people were listening, they think it's like an emergency broadcast. But yeah, I was just talking to Darryl Powell for the second half. That's why I didn't jump on. Just thought I'd get in with some of the coaches.
Friends, rugby friends.
At least I know who he is.
What we'll do, we'll transition over to the Barrows men's side before we have the misery half of the podcast where we have Weir's tears.
I'm gone.
Violent noise.
Forget. Get it all out. I'm gone. I'm done. We're winning 10 minutes, and you've got Becca crying.
It's all right, guys.
You've got me stamping out.
Actually relegated yet.
Behave yourself.
They just have to win by what is it? 158 points.
And the rest.
246 or whatever. It's something daft like that in it. As I said yesterday.
I have faith all 12 of you will be able to do that next weekend.
12, we'll be lucky.
John will be 6.
I'm going to take my notes now.
We'll move on. We're getting the digs in early. So obviously, yeah, we've sort of had the sort of news that John pulled out with a calf injury during the warm-up. I believe from what Ellis was saying here, it was a bit touch and go sort of for him throughout the week.
Yeah, I think obviously the focus was Widnes beating Toulouse, and if that would happen, and then obviously the game against Barrow would be a bit of either bigger game this weekend or a Widnes didn't, a rest game really for Widnes. So I think Ellis was saying, Ellis said he wants to play next week, and I'm pretty sure his shoulder's in two. And he was like, it's okay, I can rehab this. I was like, I just don't think that's how it works. But yeah, he wants to play. Jono wants to play. I think everyone literally wants to play this week, this Sunday's game, because everyone just wants to get involved. But yeah, hopefully he's all right. But I think really it was more cautionary, I'd say, than a big injury. I think it's just, they weren't going to win at Wakefield, so why risk a player who's already got a little niggle?
No, it makes sense. Also gives the young lads a bit of a chance for run out, doesn't it? I think it was Finn Dutton's debut as well.
Yeah.
So obviously, unfortunately for John Hall, but fortunate for young Finn as well, isn't it?
What a time, mate, your debut, eh? Away at Wakefield. Oof.
What's
on your
chest early doors,
Doesn't it just?
on your 20th birthday too?
After like 13 minutes.
On his 20th birthday, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, it was Finn's 20th birthday. So yeah, what a way to celebrate your birthday, getting battered around Bellevue by the Wakefield players. Yeah, fantastic birthday.
I'd love to sit here and talk about that Barrow game, but I was too busy with my UW Cup watching Peter Kay.
Oh, is he like one of them sort of the sort of hooker celebrity into it? I know you've got Ben Fogle sort of tied in a basement somewhere to do your little videos, but is it going to be the same for Peter Kay now as well? Do you have to be concerned about his welfare?
Possibly. I'd love to sit here and give out loads of Peter Kay spoilers, but I know there's people that are probably going to still go down and watch it until the year 2032. They may sell tickets. It's a cross between Peter Kay and Oasis tickets right now.
The only reason he went is so he can try and steal some puns for his radio gigs.
I know, right?
I keep saying he practices them in the car. That 3-hour drive to York with him, it's absolutely painful.
It's fantastic, is what it is.
Oh, terrible.
Next.
Yeah. So we'll go through the score as well. Unfortunate 46-0. I don't think we could really expect too much from it.
John, and you can cheer all you want on the video, mate. It's a podcast. We can't see you. So
you can see me. That's all you need to know.
I'm going to edit your bit out as well, just out of spite.
It was always one of them games, and it's that fixture you look at in the season and just think, right, when can we get that one out of the way? And it was just that one. We had to just wait until the last away game of the season, unfortunately. But at least it's done, and we can move on and look one eye on that Widnes game on Sunday now.
Yeah, it's one of them you sort of can look at as a free hit as well, isn't it, really? Yeah. And like I said, it's giving a lot of experience to our sort of lads who've been on the fringes as well and sort of see what they're about.
Yeah. Clearly not a lot. I'm joking. I'm going to go back on the shithouse list myself now, aren't I?
That was the comments of BBC Cumbria's Dan Payne.
You can't judge anybody when you're up against a team like that. That's not fair. That's not fair.
So obviously, we've had I'd say this lad's been on BBC Cumbria more than you have now with Ellis Gill and Manny. So Becca, how was that, dealing with Ellis on the comms when he wasn't firing digs at us?
Oh, it's so funny, bless him, because he just jumped in like a child, not a child. No, sorry. If you listen, Ellis, I'm so sorry. Not a child, but like an overexcited child. He was like, "Oh, great tackle!" And I was like, out of context, this is such a weird game. People tuning in, and Ellis is just going, "Oh, great tackle!" But he's such a great person to have on it because he understands the game so well. But I was extremely offended when I gave out a very valid comment, and it was brilliant. And he turned around and went, "You know what, Becca? Yeah, you're right." And I was like, "I know I'm right." Like, what? As if I'd never watched rugby in my life. It was hilarious. But yeah, he threw some of them when your friends make you say things on the radio. He threw some of them in. Luckily, it was in the second half when it wasn't live on air. So I'm thankful for that. But yeah, thanks for that, Ellis, because that was great. His Josh Wood comment was real scary.
we got proof of these comments? Oh.
No, we haven't because
right.
got it and
I wasn't even on air.
On strike at half time. And
I don't believe it's true, Becca.
Well, can I say what he said on the podcast?
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, nobody shared me for this. Yeah, well, obviously Josh Wood was coming on about 30 minutes ago, and I don't even know if he knows he said this isn't the point, but he just said, "Oh, Josh Woody's coming on he'll give a stiff performance out there. And I was just like, please, no. I looked at him and he had the deadest, straightest face. And I was like, if this is not a joke, then please. Even my dad heard it. My dad was sat there laughing next to me. And I'm just like, oh, gosh, when is this going to end?
Your dad was the only one that heard it. You went on strike.
Who's the real winner, though? I still get paid.
No comment.
400 quid in it as well.
Five.
Go on to the Whitehaven game, Jordan. Obviously, a bit of a disappointing one for you this weekend, mate, and you're on comms for it.
Yeah, it was, mate. Down at Mount Pleasant, Fox's Biscuit Stadium. We're not on the BBC now. We can say sponsors' names, can't we? Yeah, the Fox's Biscuit Stadium, that hill at Mount Pleasant, 28-14 defeat. And as I said yesterday, well, I sort of said yesterday, I went into that monologue, didn't I? Which I'm sure, no doubt, you've got clipped up, Andy. But
yes,
yeah, there we go. Yeah, I said it's all done by the shouting, isn't it? The fat lady's pretty much got her vocal cords warmed up, and the singing will be done. Whitehaven need, is it what, 200 and, no doubt you've got this written down as well. Is it something daft like 246 points or something daft like that swing this weekend? And it just isn't happening, is it? Let's be honest. Whitehaven will be playing League One next season, and it's just been a horrible second half of the season for the club. Obviously, all the issues off the field, which translated to on the field issues. Going to Dewsbury with 14, only one game since that Doncaster game where Jodie resigned. Have they been able to name a full 17? And that was against Barrow last week. The COVID card came out. We discussed that last week. But yeah, it's just been a horrible second half of the season, and it's cost Whitehaven the championship status.
Dirty cheats.
Dirty cheats.
I'm not bitter. I am not bitter in the slightest.
Well, going away from the tongue-in-cheek stuff only for a couple of seconds, a few minutes or something. Obviously, it's not down to a lack of quality or effort on the pitch for the players, coaches, or anything like that, really. It's purely what's gone on behind the scenes that's probably sort of drove your season off the road, so to speak. So I can see why there's a lot of frustration there, and obviously, like I've had a look at Amar's interview that you did with yourself at the end of the game. Obviously, you can see how much he's earning from it as well. But yeah, they've gone down fighting. You've had a few sort of sore bodies on that pitch as well, and there's a lot of pride still put in that shirt, which stings me to say, to be honest.
Does it not drive you mad? No, all right, I'm jumping in, right? They have put so much effort in at the end of this season when they've had barely any team. If that effort was there when they had 17, 18, 19 players, they might not have found themselves in this position. Does it not, as a fan, wind you up a little bit?
Yes and no. And I say that kindly in both ways, because Jodie at the start of the season said that he wanted that side. He didn't want his side to be the side that conceded 60 points anymore, 66 points, 50, and such things like that. He wanted his side to be competing in games. And I think they saw that early season. I think it was only really sort of Toulouse that blew us out of the water early doors. And looking back at the game, it wasn't a 40 points to 4 game down in the south of France. And it's only sort of mid to late season, potentially, when the issues started to arise. They went to Featherstone and conceded 66 after should have beat them at the recreation ground. Went to Sheffield and conceded 78, and then obviously the later doors went to Wakefield, conceded 60, and conceded 40 against the York side. They beat comprehensively, scored them 36 points against at York only a few months earlier. Obviously, completely different circumstances on that occasion. But yeah, Jodie Goalie had made no secret, especially internally, that he wanted to be pushing for that final playoff place this season. And I think with the quality that they fetched in, they would have been able to do that. The likes of Jake Mason out the back, of Dean Gebby. Obviously, Lachlan Hannigan stepped up. You've got powerful props. Hugh Worthington, who come in late on. Owen McCarran, I think, has been fantastic this season. Lucas Castle found his feet. But then, obviously, you've got your Cumbrians in there as well. Your likes of your Curtis Tears and your Jake Carters and Ross Ainley, who's had another fantastic season in the middle. Obviously, James Newton, the captain, in his testimonial year as well. So I'm going to go yes and no, but only because I think the effort's been there. I just think it's the issues that have sort of come later on in the season that's sort of nullified that effort before it became public. Once it became public and the fans were behind them and the rugby league family was behind them, I think they'll obviously continue to put that effort in.
I like that Curtis Tier. Great. What do you reckon, Andy?
Yeah, I think he'd definitely look good in a blue and white shirt, mate.
Good, won't he? Yeah.
I'm sure he will next year. Crested, don't go like Crested hasn't already said it.
I'm just saying.
One's already been announced, and so no doubt the other one will be announced soon. Let's be completely honest. If Curtis has made that decision, fantastic. Well done to him. I hope it goes well.
Reel it in, Murray. Reel it in. I'm just saying, I like him as a player. That's it.
Yeah, there's a bit of salt coming out of the podcast there, wasn't there?
Oh, I know.
A bit scared to carry on now. You all right, mate?
I'm 50 miles up the coast. I can't do anything. You're all right.
Right, Andy, come on.
Yeah, well, I'll carry on rubbing the salt in there, mate. Oh, yeah, 15 players on it on the pitch again this weekend, like you've touched on again. But it's 40 odd players you've used this season as well, isn't it?
40 players. Yeah, 40 players. God knows how many loanees. Probably from 4, 5, 6 potentially different clubs. Yeah, it's and when you decide that you're using 40 players and you haven't got the money that Bradford's got in the Championship, it shows just how hard of a season you have had. I think no big secret that Jonty wanted probably a couple of more players to the squad. I think he ended going into the season with 22, which was never going to be enough. I think he probably wanted 25, 26, but was told, or so Jonty says, he was told finance wasn't there for it. He was given a budget and they couldn't go any further than that. So, and obviously, we've seen how the season's ended up. So if you had another 4 players on the books to try and play, God knows what will have happened. But yeah, going into a season with only sort of 22 players, it was going to be really difficult. And then obviously they've had the issues early doors as well. Obviously, Dion Ayre has obviously had his issues, well-documented issues early doors. The sacking of Dalton Desmond Walker, there you go. You're down to 20 already. Long-term injuries to Callum Phillips, Marcus O'Brien, there's 18. Do you know what I mean? So then, you're always going to be struggling. They've fetched in a couple later on. Obviously, Hugh Worthington coming on trial, but even then, that only leaves yourself with sort of 19, 20 bodies. And then having to rely on the loan market, which can be very, very turbulent, as we've seen. Obviously, you guys have seen this season. Tom Forbes has been in and out of your side as an example, and he's now in that playoff hunt with Wigan and looking to go to Old Trafford. So yeah, that loan market can be really, 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 really difficult to keep players in. And like you say, yeah, using 40 players, it was always going to be a huge task this season if you're getting down to them sort of numbers.
So just going back to the weekend's games, 28-14 it finished off, wasn't it, to Bartley?
Yeah.
So, that's a notoriously tough place to go, to be fair, as well, and getting 40. I think for that first 10, 15 minutes is fairly close. I think he's got on the scoreboard first and, you just look like he's ready to make a game out of it.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, like you said, 28-14, a couple of their tries come, and then Kyle Amor said it, a couple of their tries come from sort of headers we had after kickoff we'd scored and then, knocking the ball on. I think it was consecutive kickoffs, we'd scored and then consecutive kickoffs after that, each set that we knocked on in the resultant set, and you just can't do things like that. I think Will Evans had knocked the ball on trying to get up and play, getting a quick play of the ball, and Bobby Hartley as well, who got the League Express Man of the Match, and I certainly won't argue with it. I think he played tremendously in what was only his second professional game, of course, on loan from the Leeds Rhinos. He really stepped up in the starting position there as well. The only error come when he dropped the ball coming out of his own sort of 20-30 area, and Batley got points on each occasion. I think one was only a penalty, but then that took it to sort of the gap from a 6 points to 8 points going into sort of final just under 20 minutes. So yeah, it was always going to be difficult. Going in with 15 players, Ryan King looked more like a mummy, which probably isn't what Cresta wants to hear. He was taped up on his knees, he was taped up on his arms, he was sort of taped up everywhere. Was Kingy, so he'll need a good rest in the off season, obviously before heading to the Raiders next year. But yeah, it was always going to be difficult, and I think in the end up yet again, just numbers took their toll.
So you try to break our shiny new toy out of spite now, yeah? Is this how it's going?
The shiny new toy was already broken.
Well, just touching on King, I've picked up a nice sort of nice little sort of clip from your comms over the, and you could hear all sort of happiness and joy sort of leave you throughout this. So I'll just play this now.
Going to put it all on the line for Whitehaven for as long as he's a Whitehaven player. Obviously.
Yeah, so obviously, of course, that move to Barrow announced earlier this week from the Raiders and Whitehaven.
Even in Jordan.
Yeah, filthy on that one, mate. Honestly, it took a while to get the smirk off my face. Did he look like a happier player anyway?
No. No, because he was still wearing chocolate blue and gold, so he probably might not look a little bit happier until the season then. But in all fairness to King, he wants to do things the right way. I mean, obviously the announcement was going to be made I think the Raiders probably wanted to make it a little bit earlier than what it was announced. But to be fair to Kingy, and like you said, I said last week, I do the social media and the media side for Whitehaven. He reached out to me a couple of days before the announcement and said, listen, this is going to be happening, but I want you to go a week first. So in all fairness to Kingy, he wanted to do it the right way. He done that when obviously he left first time. He only lasted 3 months at Halifax, so just bear that in mind. He only lasted 3 months when he left last time. We'll happily take him back. He fancies a trip to Girl next year. But I think, he wanted to do things the right way. I've seen the odd comment on social media, oh, that was why he didn't play against Barrow then. No, absolutely not. That wasn't why he didn't play against Barrow. He didn't play against Barrow because Whitehaven had 18 players and he was the least fit out of the 18.
Yeah, he was out the night before. That's why.
No, yes, he was up with Loughborough having a pint. He's openly come out and said that as well. But that's because he knew he wasn't playing. There was no chance he was going to play. So
possibly celebrating a potential move as well, was he? Or
yeah, probably, yeah, because no doubt the deal would have done before then. I don't imagine it's been a 3-day turnaround. So he might have been celebrating knowing he was going to get paid next year.
This pot you're stirring is getting bigger and bigger.
I know. I'm just going to carry on being a dick now as well.
What else is new?
Sorry. Don't be like that. So obviously, you didn't get covered with glory on the pitch, but you did almost get covered in quite a few things throughout your commentary, mate. So I've got 2 clips here for you.
Go on, play them.
Fetch this ball forward. Just nearly had chips and tomato sauce all over my shoes. One of the fellas just nearly, I was there, but I've done a bit more, thanks. Especially not over me white saying. That's Lassie's back again. She nearly just knocked. She just nearly bottled as Yazoo on that occasion. Probably get a coffee spilled over me as well now.
So is that chips, ketchup, coffee, and Yazoo? Was it
Yazoo? Yeah. So as Dan well knows, the commentary position at Batley, if you sit outside as I like to do, isn't the best, is it? You're literally on the back row with the crowd. It's a rustic setup, as I said on Facebook yesterday. And you're essentially just in with the crowd, which is great because you get your reactions and sort of such things like that. Sort of banged away at the top of the stand somewhere or whatever you may be. But there was these 2 young teenage girls, 14, 15ish, and they were more interested in what was the food counter was serving behind than what was going on the pitch. Well, yeah, like you said, but then they were climbing up stands and coming up seats, and so when she was climbing over the stand first time, chips were nearly all over me trainers, and then, like you say, she had Yazoo in her hand with the lid off and nearly went flying. And then the 3rd time she went over, which I was getting a little bit annoyed at that point, she actually did just bang into me and said, sorry, and I'm surprised you weren't able, you didn't pick that up and that wasn't clipped up. So, yeah, it was, like you said, it's not the best position to be commentating from a Batley, but I did nearly get fed. So, swings and roundabouts.
I was going to say, at least you have to worry next year about that in League One when you got the crowds of 150. No one near you.
I'm not even getting a trip to Cornwall, though. I'm not even getting a trip to Cornwall. He's bloody moving into Bedford. The only good thing about getting relegated to League One is, I get a trip to Cornwall out of it and fucking moving. What's all that about?
It's not your week, mate, is it?
It just isn't, is he?
So, just for me notes for the heroes section, was she a Batley fan?
Yes, she was.
Hero of the week.
Right. There's my early nomination there. So, like I said, just to carry on stirring the pot as well, you had a nice little cheeky dig at some of your own as well, mate, didn't you?
Wow, our fans are clever. They're not that quite. They're not that clever.
Our fans are clever, but not that clever. No, I thought they were going with Hugh instead of Boo, to be fair. I would give them all credit, unlike you, but I don't turn on my own.
I was going to say, I'd forgot what context that was in until you reminded me there. I can't even remember why there might have been booing. Was it after Kingy singing and I had no idea.
I think he was going off, I think. It was an injury or something like that. So we're doing around that.
Oh, so it might have been, was it early doors then? Was it the first half when because he went off for an HIA initially and come on. I know some of them fans. They look after Sellafield, which is the scary part of it. Some of them, but it's just I know some of them. I know some of them aren't that clever. Hello, if any of you are listening, but they're my matters. I'm allowed to say that, so we're all good.
As long as you don't name them, it's all right.
No, I haven't. No, we'll keep it that way.
Hopefully they see you in town for you win then. So what we'll do, you finished on a nice monologue as well, didn't you, mate? Sort of going over the struggles of the season and that, and at Odd Shape Balls, we did a nice little edit for you as well, mate, just to emphasise the emotion behind it.
The final whistle will sound, and it brings down the curtain on Whitehaven State in the Championship. They've tried hard and battle hard over the last few weeks, but let's be honest, it was always going to be up against them. Going to Dewsbury with sort of 14 players, and the battles after that, it's just been too much for Kyle Amore's side. There's been so much turmoil on and off the field at this club in the last few weeks. Let's be honest, the last few months, probably the majority of the year, and it's now unfortunately the end of Whitehaven State in the Championship. Full time here at Mount Pleasant. It's finished Batley Bulldogs 28, Whitehaven 14.
I don't know about you, Dan, but I'm welling up, mate. Absolutely emotional with that.
It was Beethoven playing in the background there to get that monologue for the Odd Shaped Balls podcast. Beautiful, beautiful moment.
It's like the song was written perfectly for that as well.
You've got too much time on your hands. Christ. It was just... I wasn't even that emotional yesterday, surprisingly, because I was probably more emotional last week because I think that was the do or die moment. I think whatever had happened in these last few games, it was going to take a huge effort for Whitehaven to stay up. And I was probably more emotional after the Doncaster game for whatever reason. I was more emotional after the Doncaster game, in where Jake Mason had picked up that last minute try in the final seconds, and then obviously Jodie then come out with his sort of shock announcement. So I think that was where I was more emotional. I think it's been such a roller coaster in the last few weeks that my emotions were probably all emotioned out, for the want of a better phrase. And like you say, you're going down there yesterday, you know it's going to be tough. It didn't feel like it was such a big game compared to last week, despite it being it. And I think, because the writing was on the wall after the defeat last week. So I had a message from one of my mates before I left Batley yesterday. He went, "That hurts." And I went, "Yeah, it does." But, and he said, it hurts, but we were expecting it, and we were probably expecting it since we almost weren't going to Dewsbury and almost weren't going to fulfill the fixture because, and as Kyle Amore said, the win for Whitehaven for the rest of this season was to fulfill the fixtures. The win wasn't to stay in the division. The win wasn't to go to Dewsbury and do what they did, or if they beat a York or they beat a Batley or they beat a Barrow. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't the win. That wasn't the aim. Crazily, the aim was just to continue and ensure they had a rugby league club going into 2025. Still a lot very, very quiet on 2025 coming out of the club at the moment, but it seems to be that they've fulfilled that win by fulfilling the fixtures. As crazy as that seems.
No, you get this sort of sense of pride in doing that, especially like we've touched on with everything that's gone on at the club. Kyle Amore's come in just out of the goodness and love of the club to come and to sort of help you sort of see it through, really. And where do you think it stands for him for the rest of after this season?
I don't think he'll be involved. I mean, I asked the question and sort of got that vibe from him. And I asked the question because he kept saying we, and I know he's saying we because I said that as well. You're the head coach, you're going to say we, but we need to do this next season. We need to do that next season. So, I mean, I put the question to him and he batted it away, didn't he, with his response. I don't think he's going to be involved, not massively anyways. He may help in some terms of, maybe, throwing a player our way or, maybe helping with recruitment early doors. He might be doing with that at the moment and trying to sell a project. I'm not too sure, but I don't imagine we'll see him in a major Whitehaven capacity because he's got too much on. He's got his day job, he's got his family and such things like that. And also he's got his television commitments. And, I'd rather be sitting talking about rugby league, as I'm sure he would have been for the last 6 weeks, than dealing with all the stuff that's been going on at Whitehaven.
Yeah, so you've got, like we mentioned there, you caught up with him earlier on. Obviously, you sort of touched on really what you had to say here.
I know you're saying we there because obviously you're the head coach. You've been involved. Obviously, I know you've got a very busy life outside of Whitehaven Rugby League as it has been in the last 6 weeks with, work, family, and obviously your Sky commitments as well.
Yeah.
Have you got a part to play in this, or is this without Kyle Amore?
Look, I don't think so. I don't think so. This has been very, very tough. Very tough. It's testing me right to the limit in terms of, you thinking about things that you'd never ever think you'd think about or conversations you'd have to have. And always my best interest has been what's best for the club, moving forward. And again, like when I started my playing career or anybody who gets involved in any line of work, you make mistakes when you're young and you make mistakes when you're cutting your teeth in it. And, have I got every single decision right? Probably not. Do you know what I mean? But I've always tried to do what's best for the club, and yeah, I mean, my life, my if it had been any other club, I don't think I could have done it at all. In fact, I couldn't have done it at all. It was only because this is my hometown. This is a club that given me a platform to be able to give myself everything that's came my way. I wanted to try my absolute best to keep the club up. But yeah, I just but again, that's just me and my own ego that's talking there. The bigger win for this club was to get to the end of the season and reset and have those tough conversations and rebuild trust, rebuild communication, and rebuild respect amongst players, fans, board, sponsors. The sad part is everybody wants us to do well. Everybody involved in all of this wants us to do well. Trust and communication. The communication part, we can rebuild that. The trust's going to take a little bit longer. And that's why I say we have to prepare for a couple of seasons in league then. For now, we'll just dust ourselves off. We'll make sure everyone's loving each other on the way home, and we'll go again and we'll try and put on one last show.
Had a couple of contracts at the end of that interview.
I know.
Well, yeah, I said to you earlier, sort of in the day when I was having a look at the interview, you can tell he's hurting from that guy.
Yeah, and he said that's his own personal ego, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that as a rugby league player. He said having your own personal ego and ambitions. And when he came in and said it was mission improbable, not mission impossible, you're like, right, okay, you mean that? You could tell in the way he was going on about it, and you could tell he's took that as he said, as a personal failure because he set himself the ambition and set himself the goal of keeping the club in the championship. But it's not Carl Amore's fault that Whitehaven haven't stayed in the championship this season. I don't think, all too honest, it's not any of the players' fault. I think there's just been too much water under the bridge from the issues behind the scenes that have put the squad in the position that they have ended up in. And you can discuss that at length if you're a Whitehaven fan. And we may do in the next couple of weeks once the season's over. We may look in a bit more detail of where it went wrong for Whitehaven and where did it go right for the Raiders if they retain their championship status. But yeah, there's just too much water going under the bridge, and Carl Amore only comes out with this with more respect, I imagine, from Whitehaven fans than he did even before coming back to the club. Because obviously, starting his career with his hometown club before going on to do what he did at Wakefield and St Helens, mainly. Obviously, that spells at Leeds, Waddington, and Widnes at the back end of his career. But yeah, I think he's only improved his image. Whitehaven, if it needed improved, which I don't think it did.
No, I completely agree with you there as well. He's done no harm to his career there, and if anything, he's got more credit for it.
I don't think we'll be hearing much Amore from Kyle. Oh, come on. I've been thinking about that one all week. Listen, he's going to mute me.
Yeah, I've just turned his mic down for that, Jordan.
Please
I'm fuming. I'm sat there just giving him the look as well, mate. I can only apologise for that one, everyone. I'll have to turn his mic up now because, I don't want that bottom lip coming out too much.
Dear, new contender for the shit house of the week. Out of nowhere.
So yeah, as you touched on there, we'll look to try and do a bit of a deep dive episode in what's gone on at Whitehaven throughout the season and maybe touch on the professional clubs. We'll do an episode maybe on each club. Just do it since we've got no games to talk about.
I know, but I think it will be genuinely interesting to see the rebuild and watch it happen, and Jordan will be there right in the middle of it. If they rebuild, you never say never, it could. I don't want to see him. I don't think Jordan shrugging his shoulders, don't know, but there's got to be some sort of rebuild in place. So obviously over the next few weeks and months, we'll see how that progresses, and Jordan will be the first on the scene to let us know how that's going on. And we've seen Wilkinson do it. We've seen Barrow do it. We've seen we've all had to, I think at some point, every club's probably had to go through this. Some more drastic than others. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. It'll be interesting to see. Go on then, Jordan. What have you got? Some outside tips for new head coach for next year?
I haven't. No, it's quiet. No, and I don't know which way Whitehaven go. And I'm saying that because is anyone going to come up the motorway and take it? Are you going to get anyone that wants to travel? Obviously, Whitehaven's last few coaches have been locally based in Jonty and Charlotte. But going back before that, they didn't have local coaches all that often. It was Carl Forster, obviously, his player coach before that. James Coyle, Steve Deakin, Dave Woods, Australian, Don Gaylor. You're going back to sort of David Seed, sort of 2011-ish, when Whitehaven had a local coach before Gary Charlton. So there was a good 7, 8, 9-year period where the coach wasn't locally based. But I think that would have to be the route that Whitehaven go down. But if they go down that route, who's available? You know what I mean? So I don't... And that's where I think it's sort of a struggle. Don't get me wrong, I think people will throw their names in the hats. There will always people who want to take over, especially up in Cumbria. You know, so we always hear that it's a rugby league hotbed and everyone outside of Cumbria loves coming up to Cumbria. So I'm sure there'll be contenders there. I'm not hearing anything, but, you know, it's still, in terms of that, I mean, it's not early doors, but, you know what I mean? I think in terms of the club's focus on 2025, it probably is early doors because there's been so much focus on getting towards the end of this season.
You available, Andy, for that trip down the A5, whatever it is?
Not afford me, mate.
A5 road to hell. 3 or 4 nights a week.
I'd love the job, but I've got bills to pay.
Row! Where is that voice note? Where is that? Row! We need to get that in.
On that lovely bombshell, we'll move on to the amateur roundup of all the games, well, all the important games that sort of got on the area, really.
There were some big ones, weren't there?
There were some great games. Starting off with Hindhill Tigers under 12s. So last week they were league leaders for Barrow District, and they've gone and won the League Cup as well on Sunday, which is, you know, it's great stuff seeing them come through. Northwest Men's League Division 2 winners, Hindhill again. They're through to the playoff final versus West Bank away at Fatterweath after beating Newton Storm 34-14.
It's almost like you used to sat in Hindhill Clubhouse.
It's almost like I've got Graham sat here talking about Barrow Island as well. I can't get away from it.
Moving on up the division to Northwest Men's League Division 1, their league winners, Dalton, were through to the playoff final versus West Horton after beating Wigan St Cuthbert 30-8. So yeah, that'll be a double sort of finals day for us. So we'll be going up on the Saturday.
11 a.m. kick-off.
Half-7 bus, mate.
That's brutal.
So we'll be going there and then...
A couple of beers at 7:30 in the morning. Sure that'll be all right.
Honestly, mate, like some of the states I've been in at these games, it's ridiculous.
I don't think it's a case of with these Ironpool lads, right? Don't might kill me for saying this. I don't think they're getting up's the problem. It's the staying sober the night before, and then try to get up at 7:30.
Just getting home the night after. Most of them, mate, if they go missing for 48 hours. Moving on to the NCL Division 3, Dissington, which is sort of pronounced wrong, really. It should be Distington, really. Who puts a silent T into anything there? Yeah, they unfortunately lost their playoff match versus, is it Drillington?
Well done.
Yeah.
Tries not silent D in it, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some sort of silent letters there. I won't go into that. They lost 10-17. Carla Premier League champions, Wharf-Brow, they beat Maryport 24-12. Carla Division 1, Askham lost their playoff semi to Dissington 24-26 after extra time. And Dissington play, is it Aspatria in the playoff final?
Oh, get yourself Cumbria sometime.
I'm not being funny, right? That sounds really exotic. And I said to you, I Googled the place to see what it looked like. And if your first 2 images are a fucking train station and a graveyard, they're showing you the best 2 exits for that spot. So I'm not saying it's a shithole because I've never been, but that's an advertisement for it right there.
and if you're a proper Cumbrian, you know, like us West Cumbrians up here and not your pretend Lancastrians, it's
Say that in English.
Exactly. It's spattery. So just take the ears out completely. Spattery.
Like it sounds, it reads not even close to that. Let's be honest.
I actually wrote Spattery down and Dissington. As you can see, it's like Dissington.
Oh, yeah,
just to try and translate it because they talk absolute shite over that, don't they? Let's be honest. So yeah, that's it for the amateur roundup. So we'll go on to quick news. We'll try and make it as quick as we can. So McCarran's got his 2-game ban for his fisticuffs at Barrow, Grade D. Worthington's made it over to the tribunal with a Grade E. I expect we'll probably see the end of him there now, won't we?
Well, we'll soon see. I think Greg was well in his rights to do what he did. He did nothing wrong, basically. I barely seen anything on that video footage.
Well in with his lefts as well.
Bring back the beef.
Unfortunately, we've seen Jamie Pye go back to Salford now as well. You've managed to catch up with Cresta on this one, so here's what Cresta had to say.
Yes, Jamie Pye's been recalled. Paul rang me personally and just said, I've got to take him back. You know, he's got to look after his squad. He's decimated with injuries. is their player. He's been fantastic for us. He's going to be. It reminds me of Alex Walmsley. Actually, went to Dubai with Alex Walmsley when he played for Barlow. Then he come back and signed for Batley. And Jamie reminds me of him. He's got so much bump and he causes devastation when he carries the ball. And he's only going to get better and better over the next few years. And we're pleased to be part of his development. They're not our players, so we can't moan about it when they go back, because it's like our player going out, and if we need him, we've got to bring him back. Just the deadline is pretty early, I think, in the season. There's 9 or 10 games left, and it's very difficult to get people in. When the deadline's over, you just look at Whitehaven. They've been decimated with injuries and struggle to get people in. And there's been a COVID rule that they've allowed to get people in, but that's going to be changed. And we're just glad to be part of his development. Next year, hopefully, we'll get him on a season-long loan. I spoke to Paul about that already, and Jamie's massive part of what they're doing, and he's a great developer of players, Paul Rowley, and knows where to send them. He has trust in us as a coaching group to look after his players, and he sent us Hankinson, Joe Bullock in the past, and they're all playing Super League now. So I can see Jamie being one of them players. He gets his fitness right, and he's working so hard, and he's a great kid, and I thought it was great on the TV against Wigan. So no dramas there. When one goes, it gives somebody else an opportunity, and hopefully they can take it.
So hopefully we'll see Jamie back, and like I said, he's got that great relationship there with Salford as well, getting these sort of players in for us.
He really has. Yeah, Paul's friend circles from all around rugby league are massive, and it's not just a credit to Paul; it's a credit to the club as well. It's not just about his contacts that can bring these sort of players in. It's about the club and how they look after these players. And I know Wigan have been impressed in the past, and that's why they provided Barrow with so many players. And he's got his personal connection with Paul Rowley. And he's happy for his players to come here. His players are happy when they come here. They get looked after. They get treated properly. They get trained properly. So everything that the Super League club wants from these clubs, they get. So I'm for that. Long way it continue, because as we've seen for many teams recently, that it's a big deal, and we really need to get these guys in. And Paul has openly said for years he's not a massive fan of the dual reg system, but sometimes needs must. And I think you've just got to go with the flow and do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, it's definitely got us through this season, hasn't it? Just sort of going over the last sort of bit of news, we've touched on it over the last couple of weeks, but it's sort of the Ryan King signing, sort of been a player Chris has been after for 4 or 5 years now at least.
And the rest.
So here's what Chris had to say on that signing.
Yeah, regarding Ryan King, we've been chasing him for a while. And this year with the troubles at Whitehaven, he actually sent me a message that he'd be interested in speaking to us. So, there was no money on the budget for this year, for next year, really, above and beyond what we've agreed to sign. So I spoke to the Blue and White Knights, who are a group of business people that are going above and beyond to support us. Jamie Lindsay is doing a lot of work for him, and he set up the dinner. Christian Wilkes as well, and John Benson. There's a load of strong business people that are 100% behind us, and without him, like I say, it wouldn't have been possible. And they've come up with the money to pay his wages for the year, along with Aaron Smith, Tom Walker's transfer fee. They had a big dinner on Friday, which that Ryan attended, and made him feel very welcome. He's a great kid, very loyal to Whitehaven, but he wants to play a championship, and we've got one foot in the championship now. And pleased to get him. What he brings to the table, he's got a fantastic bump, scores tries, can play through the middle, play on an edge, do everything. But he's a standoff in a middle's body, really, and the crowd will absolutely love him. The Whitehaven fans adore him, and I'm just glad that he's going to be playing for us, because every time we play him, he causes problems. He causes every team problems, and everybody analyses him on video and what he can do, but you try stopping it, it's impossible. So, it's one that we're really glad to get over the line, and we can't thank the Blue and White Knights enough for going above and beyond, and they've been a tremendous group since it's been formed, and they're growing from strength to strength as well. They had a dinner with over 100 people there, and it was so professional, it was unbelievable. So, like I say, I can't thank the Knights enough.
yeah, just like to say a big thank you as well for Paul Carreri sending them voice notes to us as well. You know, he does great especially by you, doesn't he?
He's spot on. I remember I voice noted him and I was like, Paul, can you do voice notes? And he's like, is it like this, Dan? And I just press save here. And I'm like, yeah. He's better than what I think sometimes. It's just we're speaking to the older generation. I'll put it politely. Sometimes they don't know what they're doing, but Paul's I'm sure he's more than aware how to do a voice note, and it's good for future reference.
Yeah, don't be knocking his ability to use smart tech when he's doing affairs like this.
I know, right? And it takes us 40 minutes to set this up.
Well, yeah. You're the one who uses all this kit week in, week out and stuff like that, all the techie side of it. It's me having to sort of learn off YouTube and Google and...
Honestly, using that BBC stuff, right, on all this goes around the world is easier than this setup we've got here. I can assure you there's leads everywhere. Jordan, it's true though, isn't it? It takes us a minute to set us up, plug it in, turn it on, dial in, go.
Maybe for you, but for those who actually want to put something into the commentary, it starts at 20 to 3 rather
right,
than
that's
5
it, I'm
to
off.
3. Yeah, you know, and actually it's, you know, I've got cables galore. I've got microphones, headphones, cables so I can play interviews. You still can't be asked to work out how to play it from your Android phone. So I'm with Andy on this one.
I know, right? Wow, where's that clip at?
I'll have to get it for the next one. Right.
You won't need all that stuff, mate, anyway. No one listens to League One. Sorry, come on.
See, you can still be in League One, yeah? Results don't go your way.
Imagine if the tables turn. Imagine how much Jordan would love episode probably 4 if it comes around.
This is episode 2 and our final episode.
Yeah, we'll be taking a few weeks off, John. I haven't told you that yet.
Yeah.
Put me holidays in early though. So yeah, just going on the next sort of week, at the end of next week's game on the 29th after the game against Widnes, in a marquee, Charlie Emsley and Brett Carter are getting their mullet cut off, sort of to raise money for the Little Princess Trust, who provide hair or wigs for children and young people under 24 who've lost their hair through cancer treatment, and the St Mary's Hospice. So I believe there's sort of a GoFundMe page going about as well. So yeah, we'll make sure we put that in the podcast description and try and get it shared across the socials as well. It's a cracking effort for the lads.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're hoping to raise around £3,000, but I'm sure they'll smash higher than that, hopefully. So, on to heroes and shithouses. I'll let you start, Jordan, because I'm a gentleman.
Not too much for me this week, if I'm being completely honest. Heroes, 15 Whitehaven players that took the field, a lot of them injured. I think it can only got to be, obviously, after the last sort of few weeks. It's been tough, hasn't it? We talked about it earlier, and we'll talk about it probably until next season starts, at least pre-season, about what could have been and what should have been for Whitehaven this season. But I think the heroes have to be the 15 that took the field last week, and those who have took the weeks in the last sort of few bits as well. So with that, yeah, shithouse, yous two bastards. For all the ribbing I've had all day and such things, but no, fully expected. And I know it's only banter and clipping things up and putting Beethoven on over music and over me bit at the end. Yeah, I haven't really got a shithouse this week, so I'm just going to call it you two instead.
Fair enough. Can't sort of fight that really. Just going on one of your heroes then, I believe Noops has got something going on after the end of the Haven game as well, has he?
Yeah, just obviously you mentioned there about obviously the cutting of the mullets with Charlie Emsley and Brett Carter. Newt, he's testimonial year, and he's got a race night and everything going on to raise money for funds for his testimonial. He's been a cracking servant to Cumbrian Rugby League as Newt's obviously come through the junior system at Millham. Obviously, a bit of a no man's land between us two. Obviously, he's Millham, but yeah, he come through the ranks at Millham, made captain at Hull FC Academy, had a short spell at work before joining Whitehaven, 11, 12 seasons ago, will it be now? 2013, I think, was his debut season, and has been at Whitehaven pretty much ever since, apart from that one season back in 2018 when he crossed to the West Cumbrian divide and had a season at Derwent Park. But yeah, he's a real leader on and off the field. He's Newts. He's one of them. He'll have a laugh and a joke, and he'll take the pure piss out of you, as I'm sure all lads from Millham like to think they can do. But yeah, he's one of them. He's had a cracking career, hoping to try and get as many Whitehaven appearances as he can. So he's maybe one of only a handful. I could probably think he might be wearing a Whitehaven shirt next year. He'll be there, but I may be wrong.
But yeah, he's having a race night. So, you know, the Whitehaven fans that are listening, and we thank everyone that's tuning in, of course, obviously, whether you're a Whitehaven working Barrow fan or whoever you may be. But yeah, if he's having a race night, so if you're down at the Ortis Rec, the recreation ground after next week's game, after this week's game, I should say, stop down and raise some funds for the club captain's testimonial.
Good stuff and well deserved. On to your shithouses and heroes.
You're going to come to me first. Well, I want to say, has it got to be Cumbria related, or can we just go whole of rugby league?
Is that because you couldn't be bothered going to the Barrow game and had nothing to...
Absolutely.
No, I was enjoying my works free tickets to go watch Peter Kay. I can't help that, all right?
Three tickets. Notice you'd have to pay for the moths coming out of that wallet again. Still waiting for you to get me a pint.
Hey, mate, I went to the bar, right, at the MEN Arena. It cost me £17.80 for 2 pints. My ass fell out. Honestly, that was horrendous. I don't know how they can think they can charge that. People were buying the 2 pint things as well, and they were 18 quid a watt, like £17 on the pot. And I'm like, what?
Do you know how they can charge you? Do you know how they can charge you?
Go on.
Because that gets like you buy.
I know, right? I'm thirsty. Have a brew. No, right. I'm going to go a little bit just out of the Cumbria scene now for my hero.
I'll allow it.
As a one-off. I think he deserves it, right? It's David Hughes. If no one's aware of David Hughes, this is the guy that's basically funded London Broncos for the last 27 years. 20 of them years they have spent in the Super League, and it would not have happened. It simply would not have happened without him. I think it's an incredible thing what he's done. He's put in a lot of money. The figures 20, 30 million plus, I believe.
Circa £27 million over the last 27 years. He's invested.
It sounds about right. But I mean, the bigger picture is he's put the RFL and the IMG, whatever, they're trying to put London rugby on the map. And we've had some cracking days. Like you came with me, Andy, as well, to London, you know. And that stadium they're at this year, it's a beautiful stadium. I don't know if you've seen that, by the way, recently. I think it was yesterday or maybe this morning. There's been a massive flood.
Yeah.
Google it. Have you seen it? They had to cancel the game. I think it was against Newcastle. The pitch looks like a golf course. It was it was crazy to see, going totally off topic here. But if you get a chance, stick that in Google and have a look at it's AFC Wimbledon's ground, isn't it? Yeah, have a look at that. It's crazy. But yeah, David Hughes is my hero just because what he's done for rugby league down south over the last, almost 30 years has been absolutely incredible, and credit to him, and hope he enjoys his time away. I'm sure he's still going to be sat in the background maybe as a sponsor, but I don't think he's going to be putting that sort of investment in anymore. I do worry about the future of London. I don't know when they're going to go from here. They've brought in some incredible players into the Super League setup and international fixtures. A lot of these guys have come from this elite academy that they've had going on for years and years. Unfortunately, they had to stop that this year again because of the IMG thing. But David Hughes, he is my hero of the week. And as for, I don't know if you want to add to anything like Jordan, by the way, you're waving on your screen there.
Yeah. Does that mean there's a reprieve in the championship? No London. Does that mean there's a reprieve? Am I hearing something there?
Only for clubs that can afford to keep the floodlights on, mate.
We're fucked then. Fucked. Job's fucked.
So, the shit house. I'm going to have to, just because of the way this podcast started, Ellis Gillam. I'm calling you out. Bad mouthing me on the radio. He's going to rock up here now at Highpool Rugby Club. By the way, kudos to Graham Shaw and Highpool for letting us use their facilities tonight to do this podcast. But yeah, how dare you sit there and call me out? When he sits next to me on the radio, it's so nice, it's so lovely. See him at the ground. Hiya, Dan. Morning, Dan. How we doing? No. Ellis Gillam's my shit house of the week.
Very controversial. You can deal with 6 foot odd Ellis Gillam. For my hero of the week, there's a lot of nominations, Hearing Cameron Worsley sort of send you west a few times during your commentary had me chuckling, but I didn't want to sort of clip up too much paddies because it'd waste my time too much.
I've watched it back. He was right.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he was right. yeah. That was can I apologise now to Cameron Worsley? I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one to call him out though. Didn't the game call him out recently, and then Cameron completely went in on him. Love that. Love it. Yeah, you called him out.
Wasn't Cameron in charge when we went to Halifax? Was he not in there?
No, it was. I can't remember what it was called now. Because he used to trigger me every time he heard his name. Because he ended up on fucking Sky Sports.
Andy's got a thing for the officials. If no one's aware of it.
Just the shit ones, which are about 80% of them, to be fair. Yeah, no. So what you're trying to say, Jordan, is you were being a biased commentator, just completely slagging off the referee, just doing his job. If it wasn't for the rest, we wouldn't have a game.
I called it as I seen it at the time. I'll now admit I'm wrong. That's okay.
Well, he's not even getting my hero of the week because he's a fucking ref. it's the young Batley lass who try to cover you in condiments on multiple occasions.
I was about to say another word there, and I thought no, because we'll get taken down.
Oh. I hope she sits there. Well, you won't meet her again, will you?
I won't be. Oh no, not.
She'll probably have grandkids.
She'll be a fully grown adult by the time we get back to the championship. So.
Her kids will be doing it to you instead. And going for shithouse, it's Ellis Gillum going after my Dan. We're not having it. We're not having it, are we? You could fight him. I'll just watch from a distance.
He's not coming. I was going to invite him on the podcast, but no, he can wait now. I'm not doing it. I'll get Brody on his better.
And Andy, it's mates for you, isn't he?
Brody? Yeah, he messaged me after I called him shit house of the week last week. I got a message, all kind, was Brody. He said he enjoyed it, so it wasn't a snooze fest as Ellis Gillum had called it, and such things like that. However, I have an outside nomination for someone who might want to call you a shit house of the week.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. What's this? Outsiders?
Outsider-ish. Rio Corkin.
Why?
You called him a failure last week.
Oh, to be fair, I know when I said it, I didn't mean it in that perspective. Listen, I've got time for Rio, right? This is me.
That noise you can hear is some backpedaling and ass falling out.
I didn't. Maybe I got jumbled up with my words, but it was in terms of the Furness Academy setup, wasn't it? And how it never quite worked out. To be fair to Rio, he had a cracking start. It was in the friendlies. And I never forget Paul Carreri came over to me and he said he almost made himself undroppable. But then after that, it just didn't quite work out for him as such. But he was another star that's come up through the ranks there. And it just obviously didn't work out in terms of him playing at Barrow at that level. It's not what Paul wanted at that time. And then that's why he's moved on to pastures new at Whitehaven. But that's not knocking him as a player. Absolutely not.
So you're going to beg him for forgiveness. And, I'm sorry, Rio.
I need to speak to his dad yet about getting him on some cheap gas and lecky, so I want it to stay in the good book.
Can you cut that? Andy, can you cut that? Honest to God.
Oh, I'm not even giving him that. He's not having it.
No offense intended. I know I mentioned Jake Carter as well for Jake and Rio there. No, I don't take that the wrong way. It was just in terms of, I know.
Any more players?
I don't know now. I'm just going to sit back here.
Is there any more players you want to out or call failures or anything else?
Stop it. I'm going to get jumped next week by Rio Corco and Ellis Gillum.
If you just want to drop me a message, lads, I do know his address and his phone number and everything else if you want it.
It's one with all the lights on because I can afford the lecky now. I can't stop myself. I can't help it. Come on, next question.
Honestly, he's ruined me evening, Jordan. I can't do this anymore.
Can't do this. This is going to be every Monday night.
Should we tell him it's a different night?
Just me and you. Yeah,
I won't be here next week anyway. I'm getting jumped by the Furness Academy failures.
Oh, Dan, no, have you just said that?
Oh, he knows I'm joking. He knows I'm joking.
I'm not even going to quote. I'm keeping that in.
Yeah.
That's the voice of BBC Cumbria's Dan Payne.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. Dan.
Repeat that. Dan Payne.
Dan Payne.
Hey, he might be back next year. You never know. He might be. He might get another shot when he's trying to find a team that will pay him. No one's going to speak to me. I'm just digging this hole deeper and deeper, aren't I?
I'll be honest with you, mate. I think, like, you're insulting players, counters. It's Dan Payne. It's spelt with a Y as well, just in case you want to look him on social media. Or I don't want to encourage a pile-on, but I won't stop it happening.
Is that Dan's in pain? Because he will be.
Oh, Christ, I don't know. See you and me. I can't run either. Not unless I'm chasing an ice cream van. I can't even run away.
What a kebab.
Are you on?
Yeah.
Just to check, are you on the comms next week as well during the witness game?
If I can make it to Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, so he sits the seated stand, he sits right at the top centre. So if you have any opinions you want to share with him, preferably not while he's on air.
Unfortunately, I think Rio and Jake and everyone else, in terms of players, might be a little bit busy. Well, at least I hope not, because that means they're playing for Whitehaven this week. So,
oh, you never know, do you? 12, 15, 17. It's just a
9. Who knows? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
It's the only team sheet that doesn't get stung by lottery, isn't it?
Big smiles. Big smile.
Right, well, thank you both for giving up your time again, and hopefully we'll go again next week with some more exciting news and Weir's tears.
Weir's tears.
No, hopefully not. Hopefully not this week.
We're expecting a 200-odd point turnaround.
Yeah, Weir's tears.
I'll just say, Jordan, you need to come up with these sort of lines and these puns just on the off chance that Widnes beat Barrow and Swinton go and win. Jordan is so going to get his own back. You know this, don't you, Andy? We've absolutely lined this one up.
So do we just get the episode title in now as Weir's Tears for episode 2 and then just accept our fate for episode 3?
Episode 3 on holiday. Episode 4 on holiday. Episode 5, be back soon.
See, next season's just the Jordan Weir podcast.
Episode 6, rest in peace, Dan. As Ellis and Rio got hold of him. Yeah. Sorry, I'm bobbing on. I know. I'm scared now. I'm scared of what to do.
That is Dan Payne, spelt with a Y.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers,
lads.
Jordan.
Thank you.
Cheers, Andy.